The Path of Exile Necropolis League is almost here, and considering its timing, it's looking like it's probably going to be the last Path of Exile 1 League before we get the Path of Exile 2 beta. So what does this mean? Well, for me, it means that there are a bunch of builds that I have never played in my 11 years of playing this game that I would maybe like to get around to right now, or at least in the upcoming Necropolis League, before Path of Exile 2 takes over all of my gaming time. Now, before you freak out and call me out and say, hey, Path of Exile 1 is still getting updates and still gonna get new leagues, yes, I know, but I don't have all of the time in the world to be playing Path of Exile 1, Path of Exile 2, Last Epoch, maybe Diablo 4 if that's ever like decent, but probably not. Also, just as a quick disclaimer, obviously these are not build guides. This is not an attempt at giving you a league starter list. There are going to be tons of those from other creators. My goal right here is just to talk to you about builds that I haven't played yet that have been on my mind for years at this point. And now is probably the best time to do it because there ain't going to be more time. None of the gameplay footage from this point onwards is my own, since the whole point is I haven't played these builds yet, so credit goes to the respective creators, and I'll leave links to all of their videos used in the description. Go check them out for more information. So with all of that in mind, here are 3 builds that I have always wanted to play but never got around to. And this is the time to do it. Alright, so build number 1. The first skill that I would really like to build around is Venom Gyre. I have never played a Venom Gyre build, or even a Cobra Lash build for that matter, but I think Venom Gyre looks a bit more fun. I have played Spectral Throw before, and that was absolutely one of my favorite builds of all time. I remember playing that back when, I'm pretty sure that Ascendancies weren't a thing yet, back when Spectral Throw came out, and I absolutely adored that skill. So Venom Gyre should have appealed to me when it came out, but it was just something that I put on the back burner. I figured, oh, I'll get around to it, and I never did. The gameplay looks really fast. I love the idea of projectiles shooting out whenever you use your whirling blades. That seems super cool. All of the projectiles, they shoot out super far, they come back, and it's just this very active and spammy play style that I think I like. And since Venom Gyre is an attack, it can be a little bit harder to scale early on, but I think that in the end game, it's a lot more fun to scale attack builds than it is to scale spell-based builds. At least that's my opinion. There are several different ways of building this I've seen. One of the popular ones is strength stacking. You go like a Berserker, I believe, and then you get the whole original Sin, replica Alberons, and go ham with that. Otherwise, I think there's also potentially dex stacking, or just, I guess, regular hit-based Ellie. I guess this Ellie must be Ellie. Which one I would do? I don't know. That depends on when I do it and what my budget is, I suppose. The important part to me, the aspect that I'm most interested in this build type, is just having that fluidity of throwing the, what even are they? I don't know, little projectiles out, your weapons out, throwing your weapons out, and then it spams everywhere and you whirling blades all across the screen, and it's a good time. I actually haven't played a build that used whirling blades in such a long time, and it was such a nice feeling back in the day, so I am looking forward to trying that out. That's build number 1. Build number 2 now. Build number 2 is more on the bossing side, and it's something that has been around for a while, that looked really cool, but at the time it was a little bit too meta, and now it has fallen out of favor. I think it got a few nerfs at some point. It's General's Cry, Blade Flurry even, Berserker. So this is a build that specializes in doing a ton of damage really quickly. Basically use Cyclone as your main skill, which I love playing Cyclone builds as long as I'm not getting stunned. And then while you're spinning around, you actually summon like these little ghosts of yourself, which is all thanks to General's Cry, which is a war cry. Ghosts of yourself that are going to be using Blade Flurry. And Blade Flurry is just a very hard-hitting skill. So when you have multiple of these generals, multiple of these like phantom things attacking monsters, all stacked on one boss, let's say, you can get tons and tons of damage real quickly. And all you have to do is just spin around. I typically love the spin to win playstyle. This is a version of the spin to win that I have never tried out, and the damage on it looks insane. So I definitely feel like now is a good time to give it a try before I move on to PoE 2. Build number 3. So build number 3 is actually one that has been around since I think the beginning of the game, and it's something that is incredibly iconic, and yet somehow I have never played it, and that's Flicker Strike. So I know Flicker Strike is one of those builds that people say is you either hate it or you love it, right? You love it, you hate it. For a lot of people, you can get motion sickness, apparently. I haven't felt that. I have just messed around with the skill out of curiosity, but I've never actually played the build. I don't get motion sickness, so I think that's not a problem for me. Blade Flurry is just one of those skills that you can scale to the freaking moon. Now, I don't know if I would go for a Slayer or a Raider. Definitely one of those two. I think I lean towards the Raider just because I love Raiders typically, but Slayer could also be cool. It seems like I'm PoE Ninja right now, and that seems like the more popular version. Yeah, so you can just get some absurd damage numbers on Flicker Strike. I'm seeing right here, 402 million damage on a Slayer. That is absurd. And if I go on Raiders, then I can see 273 million. Anyways, it's a really fun looking build. It's a total like all in on DPS. I think the tankiness of it is usually non-existent, and that's okay because it's like one of those just, you know, Jesus take the wheel type of moments when you're playing Flicker Strike, and that just seems like a good time. I think out of all of these builds that I've mentioned, this is one that I have to play, and I'm realizing that right now. I have to play Flicker Strike because I don't know if I'm gonna get another chance. As an honorable mention, I will mention that I would like to maybe get around to playing a Wander-based build, something that is focused on Kinetic Bolt or Kinetic Blast. I haven't played one of those builds in a very long time. I remember playing Val Power Siphon as my merciless Dried Lake farmer way back in the day. I don't know what league that would have been. I'm pretty sure that was when Val skills were new. I remember people were doing Val EQ that league. Jeez, I don't know when that was. That was a long time ago. Someone let me know. But yeah, a Wander, probably like a strength stacker was probably the best way to do it, right? Or else I know you can go like power charge stacking, but that's also incredibly expensive. I don't know. I don't know what a decent way to do that would be, but it's something on my mind. I haven't played a proper Wander in a long time, except for that one time, and that was in hardcore, and he died in the Dried Lake. That was very sad. So with all of that in mind, all of the builds I've mentioned are, I believe, incredibly squishy, so I would actually like to play something tankier as well for when I am tired of dying relentlessly. So if you guys have any recommendations of very tanky builds that you think I would enjoy, I usually like active playstyles, so not really totems, not really minions, or traps for that matter. But yeah, if you have like attack-based or spell-based options that you're really familiar with and that you'd like me to maybe check out or consider, I'm looking for suggestions. I would love to hear from you guys. What are your builds that you have never gotten around to that have been on your mind for like since you started playing? I'm really curious. What's on your list? What are the builds that you have not played yet that you've always dreamed of playing? You've always been like, oh, I gotta play that build, but I haven't done it yet. What are they? Share it with me in the comments. Share it with everybody else. Let's get a crazy list of builds going. That's it for me. See you guys.